Oh my gosh. If I hear one more teenager talk about how much they hate going back to school, actually, I would hate going back to school right now too. I would. I I don't even know how to express how frustrating going back to school is for my boys right now. And when I hear about what they're doing and they're launching into new things, they have no idea why they're doing what they're doing. And then they get asked questions about like what they want to be when they grow up. It drives me crazy. Have you ever heard the term do the dishes to do the dishes? I'll put in this in the notes where you can find more information and where the term came from, but um, I didn't know how to do that. And I was never taught how to do that. Why would I do the dishes to do the dishes? I do the dishes to hurry up and get it done so that I can go play. Except for we never get to go play. My kids are exhausted. They go to school, it's a long day at school. They have a ton of work. They listen to lectures. By the time they get home, all they want to do is check out. And then there's something else and something else and something else. And I've been a part of that. I have had them getting good grades and doing their homework. And then we put them in sports and I put them in activities. And I'm constantly having them run and run and run. And I've been the one that has been telling them that they need to be thinking about scholarships when they're in fourth grade. I'm learning a lot. I've learned a lot in the past few years. And I think one of the worst questions that we can ask our kids is, who do you want to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to do when you grow up? I think one of the biggest questions we need to ask our kids right now is, who are you? What makes you tick? What gets you through hard things? What do you like? What do you not like? When you don't like something, what are you doing to help yourself get through it? What's going on in your brain? What are your thought patterns when you're talking with somebody? If you're curious, what does that look like? If you're afraid, what does that look like? What do you do when you feel afraid? We are not talking our kids through this. And I think that the way education is going is just the strive to do more and more and more. Um, I listen to all of these conversations about my boys going to college. What happens if they're not wanting to go to college? There are so many options out there. Have you heard of Pepsi Geo drivers? Apparently, it's a great job and you only need a high school degree. Trade schools, journeyman. I went to International Air Academy to be a flight attendant or a travel agent. I didn't know what I wanted to do. There are so many options out there, but how are they going to know if they don't know? If we have them rush through high school, go through school just thinking about that time after college, do you know what's going to happen? They're going to get out of college. The job that they thought that they were going to have is not going to be what they wanted. If we keep having them think that after college they're going to have this dream job, it doesn't go like that. If they get through college, a lot of the times they don't even go into the same industry that they thought that they were going to go into anyway, unless it's something specific like teaching or counseling. I really feel like we need to encourage our kids to be where they are. And who do they want to be as a person? And then as they get older, we really need to show them all the different industries that are out there and let them be curious. I had a student one time. I think it was my first year teaching here, and she came into class. She was on her phone. And one of the first things I always say at the beginning of class is earbuds out and phones away. And I tell them that there's no way that I can at all compete with whatever's on the other end of their phone. I can't compete with their TikTok. I can't compete with their music. I just want their full attention, eye contact, and interaction. And this girl, I'm just going to call her Jay, she didn't put her phone away. So I got started with what we were going to do and set everyone to their task. And I went over and talked with her and crouched down and said, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Miss Haley." And then she bit my head off. She yelled at me, threw the phone down for a sec, picked it up, went out the door, slammed the door, and I followed her. And when I got to the stairs, she did the same thing. She was just angry and screamed at me and went down the stairs, and I could tell that she was going to the office. So I called the office. Our vice principal answered, and I didn't know that he put me on speakerphone. He put me on speakerphone, and I said, "Whatever you do, don't put Jay in-house. She's not in trouble. There's something wrong. Will you please talk with her? Send her to a counselor, get to know who she is. I don't know who she is yet. Will you please take care of her?" And that's the only thing that I knew. The next day she came back to class, and class just went on as normal. Well, 3 years later, it was her senior project, and she was supposed to write to somebody that made a difference in her life. And she made a difference in my life because I didn't know it, but they had been homeless. And um, I think at the time when this happened, they were in a hotel. And she had had a lot of people tell her um, that she wasn't good enough, and she didn't feel like she could compete with the people around her. And life was really challenging with her mom. And um, and she overheard me. And she said that it was the first time that she had been told that she was wanted. And I had said that I wanted her back and I wanted someone to take care of her. And I didn't know at the time the difference that it had made. Um, but we don't know what our students are going through. We don't know what's going on in their thoughts and minds and hearts. We don't know what's going on at home. We don't know some of those neurodiverse things that are going on. There's a lot of undiagnosed, there's a lot of overdiagnosed and overmedicated students that are out there. We don't know. And we're not going to be able to know unless we coach, unless we encourage them to start reflecting and having something called metacognition, letting them think about their thinking about their physiological reactions to stress. And if they get a math problem and it's challenging, what is it that gets them through? Because someday they're going to have a boss that's going to give them a task, and they're going to need to know how they get through. And we're not all robots. Each one of us is unique. And the only way that we are going to form these neural connections, these ways of habits of thinking and of acting, is by taking time to understand the patterns that are happening in our brains. And I'm doing that still at 47. I just turned 47. And I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about how the processor operates. There's a part of me that's in my spirit, and there's the brain that's the processor. And I'm seeing it more and more. It's exciting to learn. It's exciting to feel my fingertips when they start to tingle, and to know that something's wrong. Like my hormones are kicked into gear from my amygdala because it's anticipating fight, flight, freeze. There's more F's that are in that whole system, that operating system. But being aware, and then getting my frontal lobe checked in, being present, have logic and reasoning dialed in, all of these things. I love teaching this. This is what I love teaching to my students, who are much more whole and much more able to learn and grow, become learners instead of just students, to ask good questions, to go into really challenging situations with tools and expertise, to be better citizens, not just someone who graduates with a high school diploma, but someone who graduates with the ability to critically think and to ask good questions, and also to say things like, I don't really like this, but I know how to do this. I know I can get through this. Not just to do it for a grade, but to understand who they are and how they operate. So going back to do the dishes. Some people say meditation, that word scares me sometimes, because I have a hard time quieting my brain, and that's what I thought it was. I don't think it is. I think it's being present. And that sounds like a interesting word to somebody who's never done it before. If you've never taken the time to just look around at the moment, we do 5 sensory meditations where we just look around and take in 5 senses and a memory that you want to experience, and then notice if you remember it stronger, if you try to bring it up in the next week or month. Just noticing how to interact with the world around us is something exciting. And I love teaching this. I love teaching this, all about the brain and the experience around us, interactions, communication, and it's a lot of fun. If you notice, I don't hate going to school. I looked forward to going back to school today and seeing students. And I had some students that said that they were looking forward to coming back too. It's a different way to operate education. I know there's those buzzwords that everyone gets hyped up about, critical race theory, social emotional learning, all of that stuff. If we're not doing it purposefully, and if we're not engaging our students with a really specific focus on their own brain and body, not anyone else, but how they interact with the world, I think that's the key. That's the key. We need students to recognize that they're unique. They don't know what they're going to do. Shoot, how many times did you change your major when you were in college if you took college? How many times have you changed your mind about what would be your dream job since you were a little kid? Like, that's not what we should be teaching. Who are you? That's what we should be teaching. Right now, who are you? Knowing who you are now, embracing your present, it empowers your future. I'm Tara Lynn. I'm your Be Where You Are coach. Keep coming back. I look forward to telling you more. Hopefully we can share in some ideas and yeah, I look forward to where we go from here.